Spider-Man is without a doubt the flagship character of Marvel Comics, no doubt about it. Anytime there's an event, Spider-Man needs to be shoehorned in there, no matter whether it makes sense or not. And basically, Spider-Man has become the village bicycle of Marvel Comics. Everybody gets a ride. Oh, you need something to spruce up sales? We'll give you Spider-Man. Oh, your event isn't getting much traction. There's no enthusiasm. Let's put Spider-Man in there. Oh, you've got a character you want to do a crossover with that makes no sense to fight the friendly neighborhood web crawler guy. Let's do it anyway. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It just needs to have Spider-Man on it. And we've got some news coming out on that front. I guess the big one is the thing that's got a lot of people talking about happened at the end of Predator versus Black Panther. The reveal that in 2025, we are, in fact, getting Predator versus Spider-Man, but we're also getting the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man event. He's fighting the Scions of Sidorak. I imagine you'll be very shocked to find out which set of characters will be backing him up fighting the Scions of Sidorak. Really shocking stuff there. And then also we're getting another Venomverse crossover. No one cares about Venom or Venomverse. What do? Let's see if we can shoehorn Spider-Man in there. And that's what's going on. The friendly neighborhood bicycle. Just pass him around and let everyone take a ride. Marvel announced that Spider-Man will face off against Predator in an upcoming epic crossover series. As first revealed in a surprise advertisement at the end of the last issue of Predator vs. Black Panther, arriving in 2025, Predator vs. Spider-Man will pit the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man against pop culture's most dangerous extraterrestrial hunters as they continue their integration into Marvel lore. Predator vs. Spider-Man, written by Ben Percy, with art by Marcelo Ferreira, follows on the heels of Predator vs. Wolverine and Predator vs. Black Panther. So the really good news about this, and it's certainly good news, and I'm excited about this part, is Marcelo Ferreira. The art is going to look spectacular. He's a very, very good artist, very underutilized by Marvel Comics these days. So he will absolutely look like $1 million. And that's what you want out of one of these stupid popcorn, fun, not really important type of crossover things, which is what you do with Predator. It's not supposed to be the most epic storytelling of all time when it comes to character development and big twists and turns and all that stuff. It's supposed to be epic when it comes to the action. It's supposed to be epic when it comes to the stakes because the Predators are so dangerous, but not exactly when it comes to the storytelling. But the art at least will be very good because we got a whole heaping dose of Sean Damian Hill in Predator versus Black Panther. And I like to make fun of Riley Rossmo, and I think he is a terrible choice for a superhero comic book artist. But what he's trying to do, ultimately, he's pretty successful at. Is he the best person doing that style? No, I don't think he is. I think Jorge Corona is about 1 billion times better. But when he's not doing superheroes, he could, generally speaking, achieve what he wants to achieve. Sean Damian Hill, absolutely not. Worst artist working at Marvel or DC these days. But Spider-Man also doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about fighting Predator. You know, it's basically, Spider-Man's a street-level character. He sits in his city, and he protects his neighborhood. Is it just going to be Predator 2 all over again? I know some people, maybe in hindsight, want to act like they like Predator 2, but that movie sucks. Seeing the Predator, like, in the urban jungle warfare type setting is not very fun. Are we going to jettison fucking Spider-Man off to another planet to have him take on the Predator? Hey, that one makes more sense to me. But if you're going to do that, you should have Predator versus Hulk or Predator versus Guardians of the Galaxy, Predator versus the fucking Nova Corps, Predator versus Gladiator, or something like that. So I don't think Spider-Man makes a whole lot of sense when it comes to the character, his motivations, what he's capable of, and where ultimately he resides within the Marvel Comics universe. But it makes sense because it's Spider-Man, Predator versus Spider-Man. That's the only reason they're doing it, not because it makes sense for the character. Few Marvel fans would argue that there was a better first hero to go up against a Yucha than Wolverine, and Predator versus Wolverine more than proved why. The sprawling story used the character's long history to play on the Predator's many trips to Earth in the past, as established in Predator lore, and of course, their repeated battles across time were a series of gloriously intense bloodlettings. Predator versus Black Panther had a different style and pace. Spider-Man will test the Yucha in novel ways, just as they will push Spidey to the limit in a way only a select few of his adversaries have ever done before. Beyond that, readers should expect the Predator franchise to make a continued impact on the Marvel Universe. So when we talk about Wolverine and Black Panther, those are two of the characters that make the most sense, with Wolverine certainly making the most sense. He would be the big game that you would want to hunt in the Marvel Universe. The other story that's already out there with Spider-Man, which would just be a retelling of it, is Kraven's Last Hunt. You know, the big game hunter hunting down Spider-Man. That story's already been told. I just don't think there's a lot of meat on the bone there. Whereas with Wolverine, plenty. And I think that story is actually pretty good from Ben Percy. And I think we also get Sean Damian Hill in there, but a lot less of him. So it wasn't quite as noticeable just how terrible his art is. So if you want to go and read a Predator versus Wolverine, I would say go do it. It's actually pretty darn good. Black Panther makes a whole lot of sense because Predators do have technology. They're looking for things like that for better armaments. And Vibranium makes sense on that scale. You know, yeah. He wants to go take over Wakanda to grab some Vibranium. And that's essentially what Ben Percy tried to do in Predator versus Black Panther. But it was actually really bad. And I would say it was pretty not good from the very first issue, and it just got progressively worse and worse and worse. And the big problem being, whereas Predator versus Wolverine is a lot of fun and it's a lot of fights, and yes, there's a couple of character moments, but for the most part, you get exactly what you were hoping for when you get the comic book. Predator versus Black Panther is not that at all. There's no fun to be had. There isn't an ounce of fun in any of the 4 issues. It was just really bad and over the top, like serious. He tried to flesh out like a really involved storyline when it came to like the lineage of succession for the fucking Predators, as if anyone ever gave a single flying fuck about that. You know, the like one disabled Predator brother that was envious of his brother because he was the apple of their father's eye. I'm not even joking. That shit is in that book. And I would say never ever read Predator versus Black Panther. It's that bad. And then you also get the Sean Damian Hill art, which isn't all of it, but it's enough of it that it looks absolutely laughable. So I would avoid that one. But, you know, when you go to a Predator versus whatever book, you want something like Batman versus Predator. You want something like Predator versus Judge Dredd. Good character moments, lots of fun, cool visuals and stuff like that. You get that in Wolverine, you don't get it in Black Panther. Will we get it in Spider-Man? It's still Ben Percy. And while Predator versus Wolverine is fine, Predator versus Black Panther is absolutely atrocious. So you just don't know. But if you're a Spider-Man fan, I imagine you're going to pick that up. Now, we will also be getting Spider-Man and some other major heroes connecting over this One World Under Doom stuff that just started under Joe Kelly. Specifically, Juggernaut will be joining in on the fight. Equipped with a mystically powered new suit and extra lives, Spider-Man battles against the Scions of Sidorak. But can Sidorac's favorite host turn the tide of his terrifying trial? See Juggernaut and the X-Men join the fight in Amazing Spider-Man 67 through 68 by superstar guest writer Justina Ireland. Then Spidey is on his last life, and he takes his final fall, and the X-Men are left to finish what he started, with disastrous results in Amazing Spider-Man number 68, Deaths by 2 industry greats with Christos Gage and artist Mark Buckingham. Completely predictable that Juggernaut would eventually show in here. I'm surprised that the other X-Men are there, but I guess technically he's on an X-Men team in Alaska, even though Juggernaut is not a mutant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense that he's even on the team. It makes sense that he would go and help Spider-Man fight the Scions of Sidorak, considering, you know, his relationship with the Sidorak and all that kind of stuff. But I guess the rest of the team's going to come along with him. Don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. But the real big thing to take out of this one, and I fucking hate it. You know, like, I can't understate how much I despise this particular fucking sales gimmick that Marvel Comics are bringing back. And they did it a little bit during the Nick Spencer Spider-Man run, and they did it a lot during the Beyond run, where they do the .BYND Beyond issue or .des issue. I don't remember what the names of them were during Nick Spencer's run. They're not done by the regular writer. It's just a side adventure that makes no sense whatsoever. It has nothing to do with the main story at all. It's just so they can say they have another Amazing Spider-Man book. They can't even number it like 68 and a half or anything stupid like that. And I really hate this stupid fucking sales gimmick. I'm pissed off they brought it back for this. You know, I do like Christos Gage. They should have had him be the guest superstar writer. If we're going to call Justina Ireland a superstar in comic books, we can certainly call Christos Gage a superstar in comic books, and certainly Mark Buckingham a superstar in comic books, considering Justina Ireland, I think, has written, at this point, 7 comic books in her entire fucking life, and none of them really sold. It's shit like that that also chaps my ass. Why don't we actually see if she can write comic books first? I don't know if you've noticed, she can't. We've got 7 issues out. They've all sucked. She doesn't even know what she's doing, and she's going to be the new writer on Spider-Man. But, yeah, there you go. Sidorak. Obviously, Juggernaut's got to show up, but I really despise the dot deaths and the claiming of Justina Ireland being a superstar. The last big thing is I guess a crossover event that was announced at New York Comic-Con. Marvel is gearing up for a new Venomverse comic event. This will be a major crossover bringing together 2 of the publisher's most popular universes. The symbiote-centric universe will be taking on fan favorite Spider-Verse, promising plenty of mayhem to come next spring when the event kicks off. The only other information known thus far is that the event will begin May 2025. With so many recent additions to both universes, the potential for who could be included is very broad. Now remember, this year I believe we had the end of Venomverse, and last year we had the end of Spider-Verse, which turned out not to be the end of either of them, but a new beginning with actually more Spider-Man and Venom adjacent clone variant characters in both universes. It's the end, but it's actually just introducing a bunch of new fucking stupid throwaway Spidey and Venom characters. And I understand when Donny Cates was on Venom. It was a hot title, top-selling comic book. You know, they got 2 events out of it, Absolute Carnage. They got King in Black. And they thought, you know, let's just keep doing Venom events. We'll just spam the shit out. We'll get end of Venomverse. We'll get Venom War and all this stuff. Nobody's talking about all new Venom from Al Ewing spitting out of Venom War. And no one's talking about Venom, period. They just keep like spamming these events, and there's less and less interest, especially because the Al Ewing Venom run has been atrocious. It literally went nowhere. He started a storyline, sat there for 2.5, 3 years, and then was like, yeah, we got an event. Venom War's here. It's like, you didn't do anything. How does this even justify anything? But now we're getting the Venomverse versus the Spideyverse. And somebody out there is going to be excited for it. I'm not. I despise multiverses in general right now. And I used to love multiverses. I absolutely despise variant clone copies of heroes. And that's all Spider-Verse and Venomverse are. And I certainly don't like heroes fighting heroes, which is another one of these stupid things. And there's no stakes involved. Who gives a flying fuck if the Venomverse defeats the Spider-Verse or vice versa? Nobody. It's just another reason for more variant covers and bullshit like that. And Marvel not actually having to do anything creative or create any characters or stories for you to actually invest in. Do not think about this, just consume product. That is what Marvel Comics has been telling us for several years now, and this is what you get. You get Venomverse versus Spider-Verse, and no one gives a flying fuck. Venom is as cold as the character's been since I've been covering comic books here on the channel, and that will do that. Spider-Man is taking a ride around the Marvel Comics universe. Everyone gets to take him for a spin. He's basically the town whore at this point. They just pass him around from person to person to person because Spider-Man is one of the few things left at Marvel Comics that still puts asses in seats. I'm not even sure why, because Amazing Spider-Man sucks, although we have certainly seen the sales on that declining quite substantially. We'll see what happens with 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. If you like what I'm doing here on Think Critical YouTube, and I hope you do, and I hope you enjoy the levity, the perspective, the honesty that we're bringing to the comic book industry, and you would like to support our mission here and what we're trying to bring to the table, the best way to do that is to come visit us on Think Critical Patreon. There's a link in the video description. You go there, you check out the tiers, and you see all the stuff that you get with each one of them. There's lots of extra podcasts, and obviously the more money you give, the more podcasts, the more bonus content, and more videos and polls and stuff that you're going to be a part of. I hope that you will check it out and consider supporting us on the Patreon today.